Hola mis amigos, we're making a Keto Mocha mug cake. For today's recipe, we are going to be checking out this liquid microdose coffee concentrate by JAVY. This company reached out to me to check out their product, so I can't wait to see how it holds up. One thing that I am going to be curious about is if this tastes anything like instant coffee, for example, the Folgers instant coffee crystals, or if it tastes like fresh brewed coffee. Now, this can be mixed very easily, so this can make iced coffee or it can make a warm or hot coffee. And it says to take 1 to 2 teaspoons of the liquid and mix it with your favorite liquid to make coffee. And one thing to note is that it doesn't tell you how much liquid to use, because that is going to be up to you depending on how weak or strong you want your coffee to be. But I do know that the Folgers instant crystals usually tell you to add about 1 teaspoon to 6 ounces of water. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing today. So here I have 6 ounces of hot water, and we are going to add 1 teaspoon of our microdose liquid, and we will see how strong that will be. Oops, have a little bit of spillage here. So far so good. Oh, and by the way, let me go ahead and just smell the product. Okay, so at first I kind of did get sort of that instant Folgers coffee taste, or smell rather, but then it sort of makes me think of the Starbucks Frappuccino bottles, you know, the ones that you can get that are refrigerated and they already have the cream and everything in it. That's kind of what this smells like. So if it tastes anything like the Starbucks, I'm gonna be very pleased. So we're just going to stir this to combine. And no matter how much I've tried so hard to just drink black coffee, but I can't do it. I have to have my cream and sweetener. So before I taste this, I am going to be adding cream and sweetener to this. However, for our recipe, we want just the black coffee. So I'm going to reserve 2 tablespoons of our coffee. And then we're going to set that aside for our mug cake. And I'm going to go ahead and cream and sugar this, and then we will return for the taste. Okay, we are back. I've added some cream and some sweetener, and the smell of it now that we've added it to the water, it just smells like regular coffee to me. So let's go ahead and give it a taste and see what we've got. Oh wow, okay, so first I will say this is definitely smooth. I'm not sure about the acidity level, but I'm not tasting a strong acid or anything like you would from most coffee. As far as the taste, I would say it's somewhere in between the instant coffee granules and freshly brewed coffee. It's definitely a step up to instant coffee. And considering that it's easily mixed with ice, or if you can have it warm, it is pretty much a pretty good option to go for if you just want a quick cup of coffee. And by the way, it does say that there are 30 servings per bottle, and the bottle is 7.5 ounces, and it's 100% Arabica coffee. And again, of course, how much you're going to get out of it depends on how much you are using, because again, 1 to 2 teaspoons. So if you like a stronger coffee, you'd probably end up using more, so you won't get a full 30 cups. But either way, this is about, I want to say, somewhere in the $20, $25 range. I'll have the information in the description box below with the full details, but it does come out to be under $1 per cup of coffee if you are using 1 teaspoon each. So I think that is pretty amazing. So with that being said, let's go ahead and check out how it holds up in our recipe. I almost forgot to mention that with this bottle of concentrate, we also got a nifty little canvas bag that contains 2 metal straws, one of which is a curved straw and one is a straight straw, as well as there is a rubber stopper here. I'm not sure what that is for, but here is the straw cleaner as well. So that should be very easy to maintain. And the fact that it's metal is also amazing because you can enjoy this with your hot coffee or with your cold coffee. Okay, so on to the recipe. Okay, so for our mug cake, you are going to obviously need a mug. My favorite mug would be these soup mugs for a mug cake, and that is because they are nice and wide, which gives you a lot of room to work with for mixing as well as for enjoying. So into this, we are going to be adding 2 tablespoons of butter. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the microwave to melt it, and then we will be back. Okay, so we have our 2 tablespoons of butter, nice and melted. So to that, we are going to add our sweetener, and I'm going with 2 tablespoons of allulose. This is now my new favorite sweetener for baking because it acts just as sugar would. It caramelizes, there's no aftertaste, and when it comes to making things like ice cream, you don't get that rock hard keto ice cream when you're using something like erythritol. This does not do that. And to that, we are going to add 1/2 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And we are going to add our egg. Now, when I usually make mug cakes, I like to beat the egg and only use half of that egg. However, since this is a low carb recipe, typically low carb recipes need a little extra assistance with that egg to get some more lift, as well as to bind all of the ingredients together. So that's why I'm going with the full egg this time around. And we're just mixing that until it's nice and smooth. And now we are going to go for our dry ingredients. So for the dry ingredients here, I have 2 tablespoons of almond flour, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of coconut flour, and 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking powder to give us that extra rise. And we're just going to go ahead and add that in. And just as everything is almost thoroughly combined, we are going to add that 2 tablespoons of our coffee. All right, so now that everything is nice and blended together, we are going to throw this in the microwave for 1 minute, and then we are going to check on it. And if it doesn't seem quite done, we are going to cook it for an additional 30 seconds, and we will continue with 30-second bursts until it is done. So first, let's get this in for 1 minute, and then we will see what we have. We are back, and after 1 minute, this isn't quite looking done. So let's just do a little toothpick test and see. Well, it actually is coming out kind of clean. I think it is okay. Never mind, I was going to throw it back in the oven or in the microwave for 30 additional seconds, but now that it's kind of sat here and cooled, it continued to cook and solidify. So I think it is okay. Now, you can totally enjoy this mug cake as is, nice and plain, or you can cover it with some whipped cream or even ice cream. And I happened to, a couple days ago, have made some homemade keto banana nut ice cream. So I am going to top that off with some of that, just a scoop. And in this ice cream, I also have some sugar-free chocolate chips. Now you guys are always screaming and yelling at me in the comments for not trying the food that I make on camera all the time. So I am going to go ahead and give this a taste for you on camera. I'm gonna try it without the ice cream. Ooh, this is nice and fluffy. I don't know if you can see that, but that is wonderful. And I think a lot of this attributes to the allulose sweetener. It really brings out the texture in all of the desserts. So let's go ahead and taste it. Oh, that is really good. You cannot tell at all that it is low carb. The coffee taste is subtle. So I would probably add maybe up to 1/4 a cup even of the coffee, but probably try about 3 tablespoons first and see how that does. And of course you will need to probably cook it a little bit longer since you're adding more liquid, but I can definitely taste the coffee there. Let's go ahead and get it with some of that banana nut ice cream. Now that's where it's at. That hot and cold combination. I love having something cold on top of a warm brownie or a warm cake, even in this situation. But that's where it's at. If you can get some whipped cream, or if you have any heavy cream on hand, just to make a little batch of whipped cream specifically for this, you will not regret it. So definitely check this out and enjoy. Special thanks to JAVY Coffee for allowing me to check out your awesome microdose coffee concentrate. I will have a link in the description box below for you to check it out, as well as with all of the details. And I would definitely recommend this coffee for a very quick pick-me-up. If you want to just have an iced coffee really quick with all of the fuss, or even just a sort of instant and quick hot coffee, definitely give it a shot, and it may be economical for you if you use 1 teaspoon and get your 30 servings out of it. Keto Mocha Mug Cake. Enjoy, and I'll see you at the dinner table.